All right, let's jump right in. We're about to build a playbook for performing when the pressure is on. A guide for those moments when absolutely everything is on the line. But here's the thing. We're not just looking at the corner office. No, we're looking at some of the most demanding professions on the entire planet.
It all really starts with a pretty intriguing question. What on earth could a top litigator arguing a multi-million-dollar case possibly have in common with a tank commander on a modern battlefield? You might think, not much. But the skills you need to win? They're surprisingly and powerfully similar.
The truth is, they're both drawing from the very same secret playbook. It's this shared framework for navigating complexity, for managing total chaos, and for hitting a goal when failure just isn't an option. So today, we're going to decode that playbook.
Okay, let's get into the first pillar, win with facts. This right here is the bedrock. Seriously, whether you're in a courtroom or a command post, every single successful strategy is built on a foundation of solid, undeniable facts. Wishful thinking? It gets you absolutely nowhere.
And look, this isn't some new age idea. This comes from a giant of the Supreme Court, Justice Cardozo. What he's telling us is that all the flashy arguments and legal gymnastics you see on TV, they don't win cases. The facts do. Period. And you can really see the parallel here. On one side, the litigator's mission is to develop the facts, to know every single detail. On the other side, the commander's mission is to answer priority intelligence requirements. Now that's just military speak for the most critical questions a leader needs answered to make a winning decision. See? It's the exact same goal. Know the terrain before you make a single move. For centuries, this is pretty much what it looked like. Fact-finding was just grueling, manual labor. Lawyers and intelligence officers, they spent their lives buried in dusty archives, trying to piece together a picture of reality from tiny fragments of paper. But today, wow, the principle is exactly the same, but the tools have radically changed. This thing isn't just a military robot, it's a fact-gathering machine. It's sent into dangerous situations to give leaders real-time intelligence, building that factual foundation without risking a single human life. The tech has evolved, but the mission, winning with facts, that's timeless.
So you've got the facts. You're set, right? Well, not quite. That's only half the battle, because now you have to manage the most unpredictable variable of all, the human being. And that brings us to our second pillar, mastering the human element. It means understanding your own psychology and even your biology under extreme pressure.
And when I say the pressure is immense, I mean it. Just look at this number, 66%. That's the percentage of law students who experience new mental health challenges. 2/3. That's a staggering statistic that just goes to show the intense cognitive and emotional load that high-stakes professionals carry, whether they're in a courtroom, an OR, or a boardroom.
So how do the best of the best cope? Well, they cultivate what's called professional detachment. Now, this doesn't mean being a cold, unfeeling robot. Not at all. It means treating your emotional state as a tool. It's about keeping just enough distance to see the situation clearly, to avoid the blind spots that pop up when you get too emotionally invested.
And to really get detachment, you have to understand your own biology. When you feel threatened, whether it's by an opposing lawyer or actual physical danger, your body floods with stress hormones. That's the fight or flight response. It's our ancient survival software. And it's designed for running from a predator, not for making complex, rational decisions in a high-pressure meeting. And here's what happens when you lose control of that response. When emotion takes over, it leads to incivility. And you don't just look unprofessional. You actively sabotage your own goals. You annoy the decision maker, you make everyone in the room uncomfortable, and you can pretty much kiss any chance of a reasonable settlement goodbye. So the solution, the mantra you need to remember, is this. Concentrate on the positions, not the personalities. Argue the facts, the strategy, the substance of the issue. The second you make it personal, you've let your fight or flight response take the wheel, and you've already lost the strategic high ground. Okay, so we've got the facts, we've managed our internal state. Now it's time for the final pillar. Engineer the outcome. This is all about shifting your mindset from being just a passive participant in a process to becoming the active architect of your own success. You see, top performers don't just show up and react to what's happening. No way. They design their approach with the precision of an engineer building a bridge. Every single piece has a purpose, every step is calculated, and the entire structure is built to achieve one specific goal. And you can really see this shift in thinking here. On one side, you have the old way, law as tradition. It's full of confusing jargon, really dense language, and just blindly following what's been before. It's clunky and often doesn't work. But on the other side, you have law as engineering.
This approach borrows concepts like design patterns, reusable solutions to common problems, to build a case that is clear, logical, and just incredibly persuasive.
And just look at this process. This isn't just writing a brief. It's an engineering workflow. You start with a theory, you create a blueprint through research and an outline, and then you systematically compose, reorganize, and rewrite. You're building an argument, piece by deliberate piece, all for maximum impact.
So there you have it. We've pulled insights from the courtroom and the battlefield, and we've put together a powerful framework. This is your playbook.
At the end of the day, it all boils down to these 3 core pillars. 1. Master the facts. That's your foundation. 2. Manage the human element. Remember, your mind is your most important weapon. You've got to keep it sharp and focused. And 3. Engineer the outcome. Don't just show up and participate. Design your victory from the ground up.
So the next time you face one of those high-stakes moments, and we all have them, a critical presentation, a tough negotiation, a major life decision, ask yourself this. Are you just going to be a participant showing up to see what happens, or are you going to be the architect of the outcome? The choice is yours.